Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be trying to take a quick look inside of my Grimm animatronic head. I've already done another video showing how to take this apart. It's one of my older videos before I started doing all the different singing shows because I had to modify this animatronic in order to hook him up to a new master controller so that I can program him. And we're going to take a look at my finished modifications, and I'm going to talk about how I'm planning on improving him. I did a video like a day ago or so that I was talking about the issues I've been experiencing with Grimm because I was planning on uploading new videos to my channel, and unfortunately Grimm has sort of been down for the count. So that video was called Channel Update, but so far not many people have really watched it, which is fine. But basically, this wasn't the best job, and I'm gonna be doing some new wire connections to make it more stable, because I think that part of what's going on is it's not getting consistent power. Basically, Grimm, by default, if you were to open him up as head specifically, it was connected with a cable right here, and that would go inside. I removed the original computer board that was in here, but all of these servos that you see were connected to just a board that's inside of here, and it was getting signals somehow from the master controller in his waist. And what I've done now is there's a big cable that goes straight down behind, and that just goes to my servo DMX there on the floor. And basically, if we look here, I added NeoPixel eyes to Grimm, so I drilled out and removed the original LEDs that were in his eye sockets. And that's what these new wires are, is those are just NeoPixel connections. I'm probably just going to go ahead and leave this, but maybe tidy these up a bit. If I remember correctly, these are probably soldered. And I have not been having issues with his eye lighting, knock on wood. What I've been having issues with is the servo connections, because I left the original servo plugs underneath this tape, and that's what I'm probably going to remedy, is especially for like his 3-axis movement, which is right here. Basically you can see it's attached to these metal basically this metal frame here doesn't move, but it has a ball joint and a turning socket there so that the servos can move the head. And I've been having weird issues where his I think it was side to side or up and down servo would just all of a sudden stop. These servos I think are probably pretty junky because they were in a mass-produced animatronic. I'm going to attempt to just cut off the original plugs and solder them all to the wires that are going down. So that should be a much more sturdy, permanent connection. And if that does not fix the issue, I'm thinking I'll just replace these servos. Luckily, the servos in Grimm are MG90S type. I don't know if no, these are just such cheap junk servos that they don't even say on them what they are. They are servos though, and they do respond to servo signals, and they are the same type and size about as an MG90S. I can go ahead and show, here's an MG90S, brand new. And this is also cheap, not really any better quality, but this is metal gear. These I think are just nylon plastic gear. So I don't know if one of the gears inside here is actually broken. But what they've done for Grimm in order to move is they've taken these standard MG90S and mounted them correctly, it seems like, because the MG90S usually have these little screw mounting brackets on the side. And they've made custom gear fittings to basically go on the top of the servo. So you can see, like here, they have this little white gear that they printed or made that goes on that servo in order to make it rotate. So that's usually what you can sort of tell about it. His mouth has also been going on the fritz. I'm not really sure what that might be. This is a MG90S servo computer board connected to his original motor, and then a potentiometer connected to his mouth. I've done videos already explaining this procedure. You can see that when this mouth moves, the potentiometer moves there. I'm not really sure yet if this is the same sort of wire connection deal. This is connected the same way up here. But yeah, basically Grimm seems like sometimes he'll work, sometimes not. And my method of just sort of sticking the wires through the top of the plug seemed to work for a while, but he's been up now for a year, over a year. And I'm just thinking that after all this time of doing the shows and programming and everything, that finally these are starting to get a little loose, or just it's time to upgrade to a better connection. So I'm just gonna go ahead and it seems like with this controller that I'm using, the Servo DMX, it will allow me to common all of the power and ground for the servos, which, if you're not familiar with them, the red wire in the middle is power, so positive 5 volt. You can common the positive 5 volt for any servo as long as they're all connected to the same power supply. And that's already what I did in order to save wire, because I didn't want to have to feed a ton of power wires up. For these servos, though, I did wire an individual ground for each one. But judging by what I can tell from my voltmeter and looking at the actual computer board inside of the Servo DMX, all of the negatives are commoned as well, which, depending on the controller, basically the negative wire is also the opposite wire for the signal. The signal is connected to the ground, so depending on if you use an Arduino or whatever, you have to make sure the grounds are common to your controller. And so I might cut down on some of the ground wires, because I did feed custom ground wires for each one and individual signal wires. The signal wires are the most important, the yellow wire, as far as making sure that the servos respond to their own individual signal. But yeah, I'll probably do another video after I've finished with this, if this works. If it doesn't, I'll still probably post another video telling you that it's not. But I'm probably going to go ahead and common the grounds and the power wires for all the servos inside of here, and add a large capacitor to help store energy in case there's ever a big movement he needs to do quickly, because that'll drain power. And with how long the cable is going down to the controller, we just want to make sure it has more than enough juice to keep it all going and jitter free. And then we'll go ahead and do the signal wires for each one. And if I can, I'll probably try and figure out a way to potentially do a couple servo plug connections here, because I have the ability to do brand new servo crimps. So instead of having these loose, junky looking wires all dangling out, if I need to take them apart, I'll probably make it so that I can actually unplug everything here and remove it, so that then for service in the future, I think these are all fine to just be permanently connected anyway, but then here we'll make a joint. So stay tuned, and if you have any questions about doing servo wiring or animatronic building in general, just leave a comment. Thank you.